may be seated. I think of all of the lines of Christmas songs, that middle verse is my favorite. Repeat the sounding joy, repeat the sounding joy, repeat the sounding joy. I mean, it's like we get it already. Or do we? Throughout the season of Advent here at the Kirk, we have focused on the theme of regifting. The ways in which the gifts that come to us in this season, the lights that the brindles brought us at the start of our worship, hope and peace, joy and love, are not only meant for us, but are given to us so that we can give them forward. So I've been thinking a lot about gifts, and I wanted to start out by giving a few gifts out tonight. They're not free gifts, don't worry. And so I wanted to give Jackie, our children's minister, a gift for all of the love and care and wisdom you share with our children. Go ahead and open it. I gave you this gift to remind you that you are the light of the world. And now can you put that back? I actually need that back. And John, thank you so much. We just recognize all the people who do so much service and all the ways that you bring your gifts and your skill and your wisdom to the church. I wanted to give you this to remind you that you are the light of the world. Yes. Yeah, I need the bag too. Thank you. And LJ, our moderator this year, you have done so much with so much energy and grace for the last 2 years, and the wisdom you brought our church. I wanted to give you this to let you know that you are the light of the world and the example of Jesus. And I need that back. And so actually, I'm going to give all of you a candle, Lee and Gwen are a little bit later, to remind all of you that you are the light of the world. But then before you leave, I'm going to need those back. There's going to be a basket. Oh. So, we give gifts. And I know it's weird, right, that I ask for all of those gifts back, because that's not really how things will go tomorrow morning in our households. We give gifts to one another for them to be kept and to be used. And actually, we're offended if somewhere down the road we see that they have re-gifted that gift to someone else, or if they give it back to us a couple years later. This gift, however, that we receive tonight, it's different. Tonight is different than tomorrow morning, because the gift we receive tonight is not meant to be kept for ourselves. I mean, that is what the entire story is that we have heard read this evening. The ancient scriptures from the Hebrew Bible, they are promises and hopes given to one people, but received by countless generations. Those words we heard read, the people who walked in darkness have seen a great light, were actually written 700 years before Mary and Joseph couldn't find a place to give birth to this child. And yet those who first read it received it as a gift, as we do tonight, but they didn't keep it for themselves, nor can we. Maybe you noticed in the bulletin that each part of the scripture began with a prefix RE. Request, return, react, rejoice, respond, repeat. On Christmas Eve, every year we gather to retell this story. But it wasn't actually that easy to find all of these words that had the RE prefix. I ran out after respond, repeat. And so I went to Google, the other source of wisdom, science, the Bible. And I did a search for words that start with RE, because I thought that would help. But I found a word that actually surprised me. It's not meaning the same prefix like regifting, but the word rent came up. Now, of course, rent is different, but it made me realize something about the story that I hadn't ever paid attention before. That Mary and Joseph, they didn't own anything on the night of Jesus' birth. One of the key pieces of this story is that they had nowhere to stay. They had not prepared a nursery. They didn't own a house. They didn't even have a proper crib. Nothing that welcomed Jesus into the world belonged to them. And I think that detail really matters. We as a society tend to only value that which is ours. We are all about ownership. The second I put food on one of my children's plates, it is theirs and no one else's. No matter who brought it, who bought it, who cooked it, or who even served it. And Christmas morning isn't that much different. Once you receive a toy, no one else better look at it. because that is mine. And it even goes the other way. One year we had a present that was mislabeled, and another child opened it. And once we tried to fix the mistake, the child who it really was supposed to belong to could never claim it because it didn't have her name on it. The idea of ownership or entitlement, or for those who think things don't belong to them, plays out at dinner tables and around Christmas trees on Christmas morning. But let's not pretend the struggle is just with children. This is the root of most of our political struggles. It is the issue we have seen here in Denver around homeless camps and public spaces. It is the issues at the border. It is the issue that has led to the climate crisis. It's mine, not yours. It's mine, and I can do with it what I want. Mine, mine, mine. And yet, actually everything that we have, no matter how hard we have worked for it, is still a gift. For we are bound in this world together, whether we like it or not, whether we see it or not. We are not independent, we are interdependent. Just for the meal that you will share later this night with your families, we rely on the farmers that grow our food and the truckers that bring it to us and the road crews that allow the truckers to move the food, not to mention the grocers that sell it, the electricity that cooks it. And that's just a meal, not to mention the ways in which God's gifts of ground and water and life sustain all that we have. And God's gifts of creativity and wisdom and education that allow us to delight in it. We certainly have more gifts than we could name tonight. But we receive a particular gift this night. The gift of the Christ child, the gift of hope and peace. The gift of joy, the gift of love born among us and within us and around us. But also this gift is beyond us. And we need it. We need hope. Hope that our grief will not always hurt as much as it does today. And we need peace. We're desperate for peace, as our bodies and spirits are filled with anxiety. And from the continuous chaos of our political landscape, we need peace. And for those fleeing violence, whether it is in their homes or in their countries, we are desperate for peace and for joy. We hunger for joy. Not the kind of happiness that comes when you open a gift tomorrow morning, but the joy that comes when we offer forgiveness, or forgiveness is granted to us. The joy that we can feel even amidst sorrow. The joy of giving and serving and sharing. And love. We survive on love. It is as breath to our spirits. It inspires us, compels us, sustains us. Love challenges us and enlivens us. These are the gifts given to us this night. Gifts from God, gifts of God. They are ours, but not only ours. We can't keep them, we can't amass them, we can't hoard them because we don't own them. All that we receive tonight is a re-gift. And we get to open it and experience it and trust in it and live in it. But we don't stay here. We don't own it, we don't possess it. For the hope and the peace, the joy and love will only remain when we re-gift and retell and respond and repeat. Repeat resounding joy. And another R-E word, when we remember. Which isn't about just recalling something in our minds. Remember. Look at that word. We bind ourselves to one another. And understand ourselves as members, one of another, members of the earth, members with God. We remember that all that we have is all that we have. And we hold it together. Tonight, as you receive the gift of Christmas, as the light shines before you and around you and within you, know it for what it is. Not your light, but God's light, that cannot be owned or possessed or controlled. The light that is always new and yet the light that is ancient. The light that was for our ancestors. The light that shone for those who are no longer with us. And the light that will continue to shine even when our seats too are empty. Christmas is God's gift to us. But it doesn't belong to us. It doesn't belong to the church. It doesn't belong to the music or to the songs or even to the children. It doesn't even belong to December 25th. Christmas reaches and pushes and challenges us to let go of every idea of ownership, every claim to entitlement, every expectation of power, and gathers us all at a repurposed manger to glimpse the re-gifted hope, peace, joy, and love that we are all seeking. There is a poem by a woman named Linda Felber that communicates this. It's called Let Me Not Keep Christmas. She says, let me not wrap, stack, box, bag, tie, tag, bundle, seal, keep Christmas. Christmas kept is liable to mold. Let me give Christmas away unwrapped by exuberant armfuls. Let me share, dance, live Christmas unpretentiously, merrily, responsibly, with overflowing hands, tireless steps, and sparkling eyes. Christmas given away will stay fresh, even until it comes again. Amen.
As a child, I always loved the Christmas Eve service. Not only was it because I got to sit with my cousins